This was a tough boat. But now hurricane-force winds were slamming giant slabs of sea ice against us. Few boats can withstand that. The captain radioed for help. But we were far from the islands. It could take a long time for help to arrive. The captain ordered us to get into our survival suits. In warm places, a good life jacket may be enough to help you survive a shipwreck. Near the Arctic, you need a thick, head-to-toe suit that will help you float and keep you warm. For 2 hours, Sean and I sat on deck with the crew. We listened to the wind howl. We waited for the groaning sound of buckling or crumpling steel. In the glow of the ship's spotlight, we stared at the huge slabs of ice surrounding us. The idea that we might have to jump off the boat and onto that ice was truly terrifying. Cold water can be deadly if a diver's not prepared. And here the seawater is super cold. It's even colder than the temperature at which ice cubes freeze solid. In sub-freezing temperatures like this, an unprotected human can only survive a few moments. First, I pulled on layers of thermal underwear. Then I put on my dry suit. Unlike a wetsuit, which divers use in warm water, a dry suit keeps water out. Mine has boots and gloves attached. Next, I pulled on 2 separate hoods. The first one, called an ice hood, covers my head and face. It has holes for my eyes and mouth. The second hood is open for my face, but it protects my head and neck. Last, I put on my mask and settled my air tank on my back. Then I slipped through a hole in the ice. The ice above my head looked like an upside-down mountain range. Icy peaks and valleys rolled on as far as I could see. Sunbeams sparkled through gaps in the ice. It was a crystal kingdom of emerald green that glowed from above. The mother seals glided gracefully through the water. They were shy about getting too close to me. So, I hid behind a ledge of ice, just below one of their breathing holes. I waited for good shots to come along. And I waited. Often, the main skill a wildlife photographer needs is patience. While they were nursing their pups, the moms hardly had any chance to eat. After 12 days, they were getting very hungry. One by one, they began to swim away. They headed north to feed. The pups now had a thick layer of fat, called blubber, under their skin. At the same time, they were beginning to shed their white fur. Underneath was a smooth, speckled gray coat. This new fur, along with their fat, would help keep them warm in the icy water. Left all alone on the ice, the spotted gray pups cried for their moms. But no moms returned. The pups began to slide into the icy sea for a few minutes at a time. Then they crawled back up onto the ice. At this stage, they're called beaters because of the awkward way they beat the water with their flippers. The pups were easier to photograph underwater than the adults. They were still beginning swimmers, but each day they swam a little longer and dove a little deeper. They were figuring out the watery world that would soon be their home. One evening, as twilight settled in, I took a few more photos on the ice. Then I climbed aboard the boat for the night. I listened to the pups, still calling for their moms in the darkness. I felt good about our work so far. But trouble can arrive quickly on the ice. At 2 o'clock in the morning, one of the fishermen shook me awake. "The captain wants to see you," he said. I climbed the ladder to the ship's control room. I found the captain staring out at a swirling world of white. There was a blizzard raging outside. "The ice is against the hull now," he said. "We'll be crushed sometime soon and we'll sink."